While Hamas has welcomed the UN Security Council resolution, the group appears to have rejected the latest truce proposal made by mediators in Qatar, insisting on its original demands of a comprehensive ceasefire, which includes the withdrawal of Israeli troops from Gaza and a return of displaced Palestinians, something the Israeli Prime Minister's office has described as unrealistic. Well, for more on this, I'm joined now in the studio by the Ambassador of Palestine to Nigeria, Abdullahi Abu Shawish. And just to make clear that we also invited the Israeli Ambassador to Nigeria, Michael Freeman, but was told that he's not available today. Thank you very much indeed, Ambassador Shawish, for obliging us with your time today. What's your reaction to that UN Security Council's first resolution demanding an immediate halt to the war in Gaza?
Thank you so much, of course, Charles, for having me. And I used to find myself all the time need to make some correction regarding the introduction or the reports. When you mentioned intense war or intense fighting in Gaza, this means that you are describing that there are two arms fighting against each other, which is not true. There is a war launched by Israel against the Palestinian people with some military weapons, very tiny military weapons, trying to resist and to defend themselves. So that when you mention that intense war, this is an intense war launched by Israel against the Palestinian people, and the Palestinians, some of them, not all of them, some very tiny number of the Palestinians have very tiny and very light type of weapons, which
but they're fighting back.
But yes, they are resisting, not fighting. Resisting, which is there is a big difference between resisting and fighting. But by the end of
that's
the
an
day,
arguable point, yes, because the Israelis will say the Palestinians
Israelis
launched an attack on their territory and that they themselves are defending themselves.
I know what the Israeli used to say. This is not the first time. We have a long experience with the Israelis since 76 years ago, since the Nakba and before the Nakba, and they are conducted many massacres before the Nakba itself, 1948, and they used to say that they are defeating or defending themselves while they are killing the Palestinian people. So that this is the Israeli propaganda we have, and we can discuss it long time. It's gonna take us a long time to discuss the Israeli propaganda. But again, this is very important to mention that this is a war launched by Israel against the Palestinian people, unless the Israeli and their support and their allies want us to start measuring as if the galaxy itself was started in October 7th, which is not true. October 6th itself, half a dozen of Palestinians was slain and killed. Since the beginning of 2023 till October 6th, 152 Palestinians was killed and slain. One of them, 2.5 years old, called Muhammad al-Tamimi. This is the essence of the issue. This is the source of the...
But nevertheless, my question to you is, what's your reaction to that UN Security Council's first resolution demanding a halt to the Gaza
after
war?
6 months of completely paralyze the Security Council, because you cannot talk about what happened just yesterday. This war was launched since 171 days ago. And the Security Council, which is the main body that have the mandate to keep the security and peace around the world, was completely paralyzed by the Americans themselves, with whom they used the veto 5 times, not 3 times, 5 times during this 171 days to come to till we reach yesterday itself. The resolution on yesterday, as Dr. Riyad Mansour was mentioned, the Palestinian ambassador in the United Nations, it's a turning point, and we believe it's a turning point. But we need to build on this resolution. We need to take it a step forward. We have, since it was adopted till now, it passed more than 28 hours. Until now, in these 28 hours, more than 120 Palestinians was slain, tens of tons. Another many tons of explosive materials.
So basically, on the ground, it's had little impact.
When you say little, this means that it had impact. It had zero impact on the ground.
The Israeli
zero
planes
impact.
are still bombing
Completely.
the city of Rafah. Reports of fighting in Khan Yunis and Gaza.
It's not
City.
only city of Rafah. Israel is bombarding everywhere in Gaza. There is no, according to the United Nations and many body of the United Nations, there is no safe place in Gaza. So that Israel is continue to bombard Gaza from the north to the south.
Yes, okay. Well, obviously, I mean, that's not very good news, clearly. We don't have the Israelis here, as I mentioned at the outset, to put their own points across. But from your perspective, the resolution calls for the immediate and unconditional release of the hostages held by Hamas. Is that likely to happen?
It's not held by Hamas. Unconditional release of hostages, because wording have a meaning. Charles, I spent there 8 years in the Security Council, in the General Assembly, in the Second Committee with my, of course, Nigerian colleagues. And I know what's the meaning when we used to draft any single comma or semicolon. It making a big difference. So unconditional release of hostages. Do you know that Israel abducted and detains more than 7,700 Palestinians since October 17th.
Yeah, but what I'm asking, because you welcome the resolution, will you abide by the bit of that resolution that calls for Hamas to release the hostages that it holds, or the hostages that are being held in Gaza?
No, it's not in Gaza, the hostages in general, and we will come, and before this resolution, as the Palestinian Liberation Organization, our position is very clear regarding the hostages and regarding the Israeli and regarding all of this stuff. We stand in the principle of this. We did not agree in any time that any civilian to be abducted, whether he is a Palestinian or an Israeli. This is our position. This is our declared position. But when this Security Council resolutions talk about the hostages, and we have another 7,700 Palestinian was hosted, had been abducted and hosted and present in the Israeli jails since only the last 6 months.
Right.
4,400 of them is they was jailed for administrative
Okay, well, let's leave the resolution for 1 minute and look at the other discussion that's going on, ostensibly between Israel and Hamas in Qatar, where a truce appears to be getting closer. The Israelis now saying that Hamas are the ones holding it up. We understand that Hamas has rejected the latest truce proposals. What can you tell us about that?
And Hamas is saying that Israel is rejecting also this truce proposal. So that what is happening in the media, for example, let me just take you back 1 or 10 days ago, when Mr. Blinken, the Secretary of State, came to Qatar, Saudi, and Egypt. He used to theorize that they will submit it to the Security Council a resolution to put an end and call for a ceasefire. Then when they put it 2 days ago, last Friday, we discovered that there is no ceasefire in their resolution. So that what did we hear in the media is completely different what on the ground. It seems that we are not negotiating on behalf of Hamas, and we are not involved as a Palestinian Liberation Organization. This discussion is between Hamas and Israel. Hamas and Israel, just 6 months ago, Israel was the ally of Hamas. This is shocking for you. I'm pretty sure that this is shocking. Benjamin Netanyahu, the current prime minister, was the allies of Hamas, and this is something he used to declare it. He is the one that was supporting Hamas with the Qatarian money. He is the one that, with his convey, under his permission, all of the money, the cash money in the suits is coming to Hamas. So that the discussion now is between the two old allies, Benjamin Netanyahu, this current prime minister, and Hamas. Discussion is in Qatar or in other places. We in the Palestinian Liberation Organization did not have a lot of information about it, except what had happened or what did the media release.
Okay, well, we're almost out of time. Just very briefly, describe for us the current human conditions in Gaza. We understand that they're absolutely catastrophic and that a famine is imminent.
Famine is looming in the whole entire Gaza. famine is imminent in the north of Gaza. 32 child and elders person was died due to the starvation and the malnutrition. Now we are talking about 32,770, 780. I'm not pretty sure about the exact number. This is the official numbers that issued by the Minister of the Palestinian Minister of Health. 32,770 was killed, 8,800 was killed or missing under the rubble, 72,000 plus Palestinian was injured. Some of them will going to lose their life due to the health condition that is not fit and will not help them to survive. We are talking about between 1,000 to 1,500 with a patient of kidney failure who is going to lose their life very soon because of the short of the medical supplies and all of these issues. 10,000 cancer patient is losing their life in a daily basis. We are talking about 65% of the building and infrastructure in Gaza between completely razed or partially damaged.
Right.
We are talking about a catastrophic situation. But all of this is not enough. We will going to know more and more and more about this catastrophe when there is an investigation community or inquiry commission or fact-finding mission came to Gaza and to put its final report.
Well, thank you very much indeed for that update.
Sure.
And we appreciate very much your coming in to talk to us. Obviously a very dire situation there, and we hope that this resolution helps to alleviate the suffering of the people in Gaza. Abdullahi Abu Shawish is the ambassador of Palestine to Nigeria. Thank you ever so much.
Thank you so much.